Well, as you may have noticed that my fenders don't quite cover my tires on the GT-SS. So I'm going to carve a fender off of another car. But the problem with this car is it's wrecked on that side, so I'm going to have to go to the salvage yard eventually and get a fender. So I'm going to be cutting this off with a Sawzall to see how it works, because they won't let you use the old death wheel down there at the salvage yard. They're worried about you setting stuff on fire with sparks. Anyway, going to cut this thing off. Oh, kind of dark under here. It's always dark under these lifts when you work under them, so sometimes you got to add a little bit of light. Much better. So now I got to see how it's going to work cutting this off with a Sawzall. Where I'm going to get started at with a Sawzall, I mean with the angle grinder it's easy. But I plan to take it off all the way from the window line, all the way across back here, and then down to about here, because I have no use for this part of the quarter on the other car. Should be a lot of fun. Right, fun. I have my assortment of weaponry here. Shouldn't burn up all my Sawzalls. No, they'll be fine. I'm going to see how these cheap blades do. I've got some other probably better blades, but I'm going to see how these Harbor Freight blades do, just to see how far they'll cut. Whether they'll cut anything or whether they'll go a ways. All right, protect your ears. Turn down your volume. No, I'll turn the volume down in editing. And away we go. Do a little cleaning up, find out exactly where I'm going to cut at, where I can cut at. I have changed to the other Sawzall because it's variable speed, and I don't know how well you can see that on camera, but speed is your enemy. The other one doesn't really variable speed, it's just on and off. So let's see how this works. So far I'm getting good mileage out of these cheap blades. I drilled 3 holes right there with the drill so I can get the saw started, and let's see what... I think I'm going to cut it down here. I don't think I'm going to need more than just a little bit of this lip, but my biggest fear is cutting some off that I wish I'd left on later, so let's go for it. we've cut out almost the whole thing on one battery. And I kind of forgot, this adapter does not have a voltage sensor in it, so it really kills the battery down. But I slapped it on a charger right away, and it is taking a charge, so no harm. I'm just going to cut this out, probably right across here, because I can always trim it up later. All right, I got a piece of sheet metal right back there. So I have to stay kind of this way. And one little tiny spot, I think, is all that's left to cut that I left right here. Keep it from bouncing around. Oh, let's see, what else do we have? That should be it, except I think there's a little spot right in the bottom corner down here that I couldn't quite get, but I think just wiggling it, pop off. And some gloves. All right, I think everything is loose. This is not a car. Ooh, a little more still connected than I thought there was. This is a car. All right, yeah, this is part of the car too. All this is structural on these things. Well, I gotta say the old Harbor Freight blades did a lot better than I thought they would. Burned one of them up, kind of used the other one up. I mean, it's still going. It took one battery and a little bit of the second one to cut the entire quarter panel off, so now I can go to the salvage yard and confidently know I have enough battery to cut a quarter panel off of a car when one comes in at my local yard. Harbor Freight blades actually did a pretty good job cutting that quarter panel off. I do have some other blades here in case I needed them. The main reason why I needed a second blade is the variable speed doesn't work on this saw, and I started it with this saw. Just wanted to see how it would do. And as you can see, speed is your enemy when you're cutting metal. So I switched to the other saw, grabbed a second blade, did fine. As you can see, that blade's still pretty good shape. We're still cutting good. Well, after much playing around and jacking up with wood blocks and such as that, I kind of have the fender in somewhat of a position, kind of playing around with where I think I might want to cut it and where I might want to add some metal here to make this line come out, make the air intake scoop, etc., etc. Now it's just a matter of getting it held into a permanent position so that it will stay in place as I cut and shape it to the desired proportions. The plan right now is to cut it somewhere along here and run a piece of sheet metal from here to here, making this angle much longer and flatter than what it was on the original car. It'll still have a downward angle to it, but it just won't be as much downward angle. I have to do something to get that extra length. All right, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and as always, thanks for watching.